Okay, so we're going to use this video to talk about how to verify and authenticate a domain name in MailChimp. So why is this important? Well, in order to be able to send an email out to your list, you need to provide MailChimp with a from email address. That's the email address that the email that you sent out appears to be coming from. In order to set up the email address as the from email address, we need to verify ownership of it so that MailChimp understands that we have an association with that domain name for that email address, and we are not attempting to propose as somebody from somewhere else, some other company. We're not going to do anything that's against email etiquette. So here I am in a campaign I've set up called August Newsletter, and I want to edit the from email address. Currently it's set up as my Gmail account, but I want to change this to something that's more professional, such as my company name domain. So I want to change it to richard@richardclarkmarketing.com. I enter that into the from email address field. When I go to save that, though, MailChimp understands that I haven't verified the domain in richardclarkmarketing.com, and it won't let me send until I have done that. So in order to do the first step in this process today, I need to verify the domain. So I need to enter an email address. MailChimp is going to send an email to that email address. In that email will be a code, which I then need to come back to MailChimp with and enter into a field. So I'm going to send this email off to an email associated with that domain name, richardclarkmarketing.com. And then I'm going to come back and enter a verification code. So if I go and look at my email account here, this is the email that I got from MailChimp. And here is the code. I can click to verify domain access, or I can copy this code. I can go back to MailChimp. I want to enter the verification code. Verify. Domain successfully verified. Done. I'm going to click save again. And now I can successfully use this from address. So in order to verify ownership, I just have to go through those few simple steps. But the second thing, and more importantly, that we want to do is you want to authenticate our domain. So if we go up to our name of our account up here in the top right corner of the screen and choose account, and then we go to settings and domains, we can see that richardclarkmarketing.com is a verified domain, but to help improve email delivery rates, you want to also be able to authenticate our domain. So when MailChimp sends out an email using your domain name or other domain names such as gmail.com, it wants to understand that you have permission to use that domain name in your from email address. The way it does that is it goes to the owner of that domain name and says, hey, do you guys give permission for MailChimp to use your domain name as a from email address? And what we're going to do today is we're going to set up in our domain registrar account an SPF and DKIM record that will tell an email marketing service provider, such as Gmail, that MailChimp has permission to use this domain name, richardclarkmarketing.com, and therefore it's more likely to let these emails that we send out go past its spam filters and reach our recipients, which will hopefully lift our open rates and interaction and results from those emails. So let's get started. We're going to authenticate. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a Cname record for this with this value, and we're going to create a TXT record for this value using this information presented here. We're going to do that in GoDaddy. You may not use GoDaddy for your domain name registrar. GoDaddy is really popular, so hopefully a number of you use GoDaddy. If you don't use GoDaddy, the process is probably very similar with whoever you've registered your domain name with. You might need to contact support to get some specifics on exactly how they handle this, but the process tends to be very similar across the board. So I'm going to go to my GoDaddy account here, and here I am under the domains that I have on my account, and here's richardclarkmarketing.com. I'm going to click the DNS button, and the first thing that we want to do is we want to create a Cname record for this value. So I'm going to go down to the bottom of this list with all these other records already in here. You can see there are already some Cname records. I'm going to click Add. I'm going to choose a Cname record. In the host field, I'm going to put this value here. Just copy and paste that in there. And I'm going to use this value it's provided me here in the value, the points to field. Okay, I'm going to leave Cname as Cname, TTL is 1 hour, that's fine. And I'm going to click Save. And that's set up the Cname record. And now I'm going to go and create an SPF record. So that's going to be a TXT record. And I'm going to copy this here. Add TXT. Just going to put the host in. And this is the actual record here. Copy, paste that into my TXT value. Leave TTL at 1 hour. And I'm going to save this. So I've created a TXT and Cname record for richardclarkmarketing.com. So if an email service provider comes looking here to see whether or not MailChimp has permission to send emails using a domain, richardclarkmarketing.com, it's going to come, and GoDaddy can tell the email service provider that MailChimp does indeed have permission to send from its servers using my domain name. So this really helps my chances of good deliverability on my campaigns, because if I didn't have these set up, perhaps the email service provider would red flag my emails. Perhaps it thinks that I'm not a legitimate sender of emails using my domain name, and maybe my email open rate or deliverability is going to suffer. So this is a great way to improve deliverability and to avoid being in spam. It's going to boost your open rates. At some point, when I authenticate the domain, MailChimp should tell me that it is authenticated. That can take some time. For example, I just tried it, and it can take 24 to 48 hours for the DNS changes that we made to propagate through the internet. So you might have to wait a while. Just come back to this page and click Authenticate Domain until it tells you that it's correct and authenticated. And then you've completed this two-step process, and your open rates should improve, and you should end up in less spam folders. So this is a great way to improve email deliverability.